I currently find myself in a season of change. There's some things I'm learning to let go of, and some things that are bringing new beginnings and new life. So thank you for joining me today as I take you along and discuss some of these changes happening around the lavender blue cottage. We finally accomplished something that has been on my dream list since we moved into this home, and that was getting a new sign on the gates. So when we moved in, the previous owners lovingly called this home and property the Blue Note Ranch. I believe it has something to do with his business as well. I think he owned a music shop. But anyway, that didn't feel too relevant to what we were creating here. But I loved the idea of putting a sign on our gates. So I had this sign made that says the Lavender Blue Cottage, and hubby helped me put it up on both gate entrances to our home. And I think it looks so cute and charming. There's just something that's really fun about naming your home and property. Every home that we've lived in and look back on has a little nickname, and so putting a sign up somewhere on your home or property is a fun way to make it even more endearing and memorable. Now, before I go about any more homemaking today, I wanted to have a little sit-down chat with you and talk to you about what is happening to Tidbits and Company. And to do this, I'm making up a warm cup of Crio brew. If you're unfamiliar with Crio brew, I have recipes on my blog, and I've already made up a big batch, so I'm just taking it out of the fridge, warming up a cup of it to enjoy. I'm adding in like a splash of milk, a pinch of salt, a little bit of pure maple syrup, and then my daughter's been playing around with making lavender recipes, so she made some lavender infused sugar, and so I'm adding in a little splash of that, because I think lavender and chocolate are a delicious combo. Let's try this out with that little addition of lavender. It smells really good. Ooh, that's yummy. I think next time I'll try, when I make the Crio brew in my Instant Pot, put lavender buds in there so I don't have to add additional sugar. But I really love the chocolate and lavender mix. Pretty good. All right, friends, well, let's sit here and chat a little bit about what's happening to Tidbits and Company. And please don't worry, I'm not dropping off the ends of the earth. I'm not going to stop making content. It's just gonna look a little differently, probably more for me than for you, but I wanted to make sure that I filled you in before things change up. So I have decided to do kind of a major rebrand, and it's a little bit scary. So thank you for being here with me today to let me explain. When you've been sharing content under a certain name for over 12 years, switching that name can really be a bad idea. So why am I doing this? Let me try to explain a little bit and just get some thoughts off my mind. So I thought I would actually tell you a little bit of the history of my blog, my channel, my business, that I've been operating for at least 12 years under the name of Tidbits and Company. It did start as just Tidbits, and I decided to add that company because you guys are my company, and I wanted to do all this with you, and then I was developing other branches of the business, so that felt like a good addition to the name. But I've always had Tidbits in my heart and as my name, and if you've been with me a long time, you know that. Started out as a blog. When my youngest son was 1 year old, I had decided that I wanted to approach my blog, at the time that's pretty much all it was, as more of a business, and it was really fulfilling for me, really exciting, opened up a whole new world of friendships and ability to share the creative part of me while being home with my kids. And of course, this has developed to a YouTube channel, a podcast, which didn't perform that well, so I tried to do more podcast messaging through just my normal YouTube videos, but I would like to maybe get into that a little more. but it's all been shared under the name of Tidbits and Company. And I realize I actually don't say that name a lot, so if you never knew that, I'm not too surprised, but that's been a huge part of me. Even I would go as far as saying part of my identity is that I had a business called Tidbits and Company. So you might be wondering why Tidbits and Company. Honestly, not a whole lot of rhyme or reason other than when it all started and I was trying to come up with a name, I went down to the basement and grabbed a can of pineapple tidbits. And it just like dawned on me, like I do share a bit of this and a bit of that, so tidbits. And so that stuck for a long time. For a while, my taglines would change. I did like inspiration for, what would I say? Oh, it was inspiration for do-it-yourself living. At that time, we were building a home and there was a lot of DIY content. And then as I felt a little more settled and into a different stage of life, I changed my tagline to inspiration for the keeper of the home, because I really gained a heart for homemakers and realizing that it's sometimes a very unsupported role, especially for women, an unseen role, but I feel so much that role is so important in our homes, in society at large, and I wanted to show up a little more to support the homemaker. And I love the phrase, the keeper of the home, because while homemaker is an awesome title, I also feel like the word to keep or keeping is so beautiful, and that it helps us realize that we are keeping and protecting our homes in a beautiful way. For me, to keep almost feels like I hold something dear to my heart. It is very precious, and it really resonated with me to show up here to inspire the keeper of the home. So as I have become more clear on my vision and purpose and what really drives my passion here, especially on YouTube and on my blog, I felt a disconnect with the name Tidbits and Company for a long time. And I just kind of kept rolling with it because rebranding really is not a good idea, especially in the blog world. The traffic that you've built up, a lot of times redirecting and rebranding can hurt your traffic. So it always made me nervous and I just kind of shoved it off. But this like disconnect just kept coming up. Call it inspiration, promptings from the spirit. That's what I call it anyway. I just felt like it was time. It was time to make sure that my business, which is a huge part of my life, and the message that I share online really connected with my purpose. So with AI kind of making the blog world difficult anyway, I figured, what do I have to lose? I also really feel that here on YouTube, the name that I have chosen to brand my channel and my blog just sends my message more clearly. It makes sure those who land here know exactly what they're coming for. So it feels really good. This whole process has been more involved than you would think. Rebranding is no small feat. You have logos, making sure all the redirects happen, changing out verbiage everywhere. So it's been a lot to deal with, but now that it's like done, I just feel so much peace. I sometimes think that my Tidbits and Company era, if you will, was more about me and what I was doing, the homes we were building, the projects we were doing. And the new brand feels more about you. And if I'm being honest, that is more motivating for me and more fulfilling. So without further ado, let's share the new name of this channel and my blog, which you may actually have already caught on to. But the new name of this channel is simply The Keeper of the Home, and my blog can be found at thekeeperofthehome.com. I'm so excited about these changes. They just feel good rolling off of my tongue, and I just feel more focused and clear on what I'm gonna show up and share with you week to week, day to day, and I'm really excited about the new branding, the new look, and I hope maybe you are too. I have also changed my social channels to be the keeper of the home so that we stay consistent everywhere. Previously, my shop was tidbitsandco.com. You can now find it at thekeeperofthehomeshop.com. But here's what's awesome about technology, even if you forget all this, or if I have old visitors coming to find me and they can't, if you just type in tidbitsandcompany.com, it should just redirect you to the new page at thekeeperofthehome.com. So that's really nice that we could do that. And then some other things that are just being updated with it. If you've ever bought my planner that I design every year, I've been doing that since 2019, I believe. My Tidbits Day Planner, I love it so much, but since we're kind of retiring the name Tidbits, I've decided to call it the Keeper of the Home Day Planner, which I really love because each of our lives as homemakers are so different. Some of us have to work outside of the home, some of us are balancing a lot of things with kids, some of us have empty nests, and life looks a lot differently there. And so I've designed a planner that just has like open heading space. You can design it exactly for how you need it. And it works really great for homemakers because we have yearly, monthly, weekly, daily, and hourly planning capabilities all in one very simple, beautiful format. So I do have a few more of those left if you want to try them out for this year, but for next year they will be called the Keeper of the Home Day Planner. And the quotes that I put in there are going to be maybe more aligned with our work in the home and also productivity and goals and all that. So that's really fun to put together. But it's such a nice planner for keeping track of our to-do list. There's a little section for that. And then like the time blocks or the hourly schedule for the day, every week page has that. So it's just, it's my lifeline. I am a pen and paper planner all the way, and it just like saves my life. So I can't stop making them because I'm basically making them for me, but I hope they help you guys as well. And again, you can find those and like see what they look like, maybe order the last few that I have if you want to try it out for the rest of the year. But that's at thekeeperofthehomeshop.com. And then as you may know, I recently released a new cookbook all about making yeast breads with whole wheat flour or freshly milled flour. And I'm actually excited because I've had it in my mind to create a line of cookbooks that are called the Keeper of the Home Cookbooks. And so this fits in perfectly. I already called that one the Keeper of the Home Cookbook, and I'm working on another one to add to the collection. This one's going to be all about quick breads made with whole wheat or freshly milled flour. So I'm almost done with that, almost ready to get it to the printer, but I'm just excited to keep developing cookbooks, maybe even branch into other kinds of books, just these little really niche down books that I want to create for you that are just easy to grab off the kitchen shelf and find your recipe. They're not overwhelming. So that's a big thing that I want to keep doing for you. And then I also have a couple of classes on my shop page, and I call these the Keeper of the Home classes. Those are something else that I want to keep creating for you. If you have any ideas of a class that you want me to create, those are really fun for me. I get to just dive deep into a topic. So I've been thinking about doing a freshly milled flour one, even though I share a lot of that here on YouTube. I think it'd be fun to really break it down into specifics and help you guys get started with freshly milling flour in your home and making really, really nutritious breads at home. Then I also have Keeper of the Home merch, which I want to kind of add to. I have some t-shirts, which are super comfortable, great for the warmer months, and a really cute hoodie sweater over on the shop. And what's so fun is they already say Keeper of the Home. So this has been in my mind for a long time. And I just love wearing those sweatshirts and t-shirts and just kind of showing the world that I'm really proud to be a homemaker and take my role as the Keeper of the Home with a lot of joy in my heart. So those are fun to wear. If you want to check those out, I've got lots of color options. And you can join me in sharing, especially with the next generation, that being a homemaker is quite a joy. and we're proud of it. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, since my old tagline is basically my new brand name, I did come up with a new tagline to just, again, like really focus in on the message I want to share. So my new tagline is finding beauty in homemaking and healthy living. So I really liked that phrase because I feel like there is so much beauty in homemaking and healthy living. And I want to help you find that. And I want to find more of it myself and to just enjoy the beauty of every day when we get to be home and take care of this home and make it a welcoming place for ourselves and for others. So that's the new tagline, which I really love, and I hope you do too. Okay, let's sum it up. Let me just say maybe what you can expect moving forward. And I'll be honest, probably not a whole lot of changes, especially out of the gate. The most change is really going to happen for me in that this change is going to allow me to really hone in and focus on the messaging that I want to put out in the world. Basically, that it is such a joy to be a homemaker and to keep our homes. So it's just going to be like a guiding star for me, and anything that I may think that I want to share, I'm going to run it through the lens. Is this really going to be a support to you and an inspiration to you as you go about your own work at keeping your home? I love to talk with you guys and call you my fellow keepers, so that may come up. But other than that, if you've been with me for a long time, you may not see a whole lot of changes, just more of a focus in supporting homemakers. But I do have to warn you, if I do go a little inconsistent during the summer months, that's not because of the rebrand. That's actually because there's a big part of me that needs to focus on our lavender farm. It's going to be blooming quite a bit this summer, and so I'm trying to gear up with product and legalities and figuring out how to make the lavender farm profitable. So that is going to be a lot of my focus, but I'm actually excited to take you along with some of that and to see just that beauty and how you can bring lavender into your home, whether that's through recipes, through decorating. So I'm really passionate about lavender, and that's a big part of what I need to focus on now. So if I do show up a little inconsistently for a while, you can probably guess that I'm focusing on my lavender blue farm business, which I know it's a little crazy to have another one, but this one is one that I'm partnering up with my husband. We're working on it a lot together, and it's kind of my retirement plan, I always say, because I'm not sure I want to be on YouTube forever. And being a lavender farmer has been a long time dream. So we're excited to have plants that will give us a really good harvest this year. And if you're curious, you can follow me over on Instagram at the Lavender Blue Farm. I also have that website all set up, lavenderbluefarm.com. We will be releasing products this year, so if you also love lavender, definitely follow me there. And just finally, real quick, sometimes when you rebrand, you can lose some people, and I don't want that to happen to you. So this has been kind of nerve-wracking for me to put out, simply because I don't know how things are going to perform from here on out. So if you just want to make sure that you stay in touch and see what's going to happen and keep up with all of my updates and inspiration for the keeper of the home, make sure you sign up for my newsletter. Whenever I produce new content, I include that in my weekly newsletter. I will leave a link to that in the description. You can sign up and I'll be in touch that way. And then of course, here on YouTube, if you could make sure you hit that subscribe button, like this video, thumbs up, comment, all the things. They're really helpful to just, especially as I've changed the name, to help me out of the gate, to boost performance and to tell YouTube that I'm still here. Same person, we're just working under different names. So that really helps if you want to support me that way. And then definitely a huge support would be going over to my blog at thekeeperofthehome.com. Any searching around you can do, commenting, reviews on recipes, anything that you do over on my blog to give it a little boost would be so appreciated, because I do suspect a pretty big dip with this big change. but you guys could really help me out to get some momentum on there through it, and I would really appreciate that. And I think you'll find a lot of great stuff. I've been sharing for 12 years, have tons of stuff in the archives, lots of recipes, home inspiration, you name it. So if you want to hop over there, that would be great. And I'm still going to be very active on the blog, posting new content, so that will just keep on going. And then of course you can follow me on social media at the Keeper of the Home, and keep in touch with me there. Let me know what you think. All of that will really help with this transition. And thank you so much for just sitting down and chatting with me. I think my Crio brew is cold now. I got too chatty, but I'm gonna warm it up, keep going about my day. I have a few more things to share with you, but I really want to thank you for being here with me and supporting me through all of this. And in turn, I really want to show up and be a huge support for you as you go about being the keeper of your home. I've been looking at the weather forecast and we have a big storm rolling in, so it often falls onto the keeper of the home to prepare the inside and outside for Mother Nature. We actually got these new outdoor furniture pieces, which I am so excited about. We have loved them. I've eyed these pieces on Walmart for a couple of years, and when I finally saw them in person at my friend Sarah's home when we went to see her, that's Sarah from Grace in My Space YouTube channel, I'll link her below, but she had these pieces and I fell in love with them and just knew that they would be a wise investment. But with the storm coming in, we need to get them covered. And if you're looking for outdoor furniture, I'll leave a link to all the products I'm talking about, recipes and whatnot, in the description below. I've also been wanting to work on these little garden beds that we have just out of our back patio, and I want to get to it before it's really wet for quite a few days. So I laid down some fencing stuff over the winter to keep the cats from using these garden beds as their litter box, which they love to do. So I am trying to prepare these and to do something about these garden beds to keep the chickens and the cats out of them. So we'll see if my efforts work. But I needed to do some weeding before we could get them prepped. And then I bought these little snap together gate pieces. I hope they're high enough to keep the animals out, but we'll see. I may have to think of something else to top off of it, but I wanted something in the garden beds that was kind of pretty too, and not too intrusive in the design. I love how these garden beds look outside of our backyard. So I thought these black ones would meld in a little bit and not be too intrusive. I could still bend over and clip my herbs and do some gardening here. So I'm putting those together and surrounding each garden box with these in hopes of keeping our cute little cats and our very productive chickens out of my herb garden. The last bit of inspiration I want to share with you today is some bread inspiration, of course. I'm still fully enjoying making bread with freshly milled flour, and you may know I put out a cookbook all about breads, yeast breads specifically, using whole wheat or freshly milled flour. And I have gotten questions about if I also use freshly milled flour with sourdough, and yes, I absolutely do. Today, or I should say yesterday, I began a 100% Spelt sourdough loaf from freshly milled Spelt wheat. And Spelt, I feel like, turns out really well with sourdough. So I will leave a link to the recipe down in the description But you can see here after cooking it, it just comes out so beautiful and it's delicious. I love the more nutty, robust flavor of spelt bread. I'm wrapping up the day just by making our home feel a little more lovely and cozy, and I thank you for joining me today. I hope you'll subscribe and follow along on my blog and YouTube channel that are now called The Keeper of the Home. And I will be back very soon to share more inspiration for you. Thank you so much for joining me. Until next time, have a lovely day.